Welcome back, everybody, live from the Anaheim Convention Center here in Southern California. It's time for our first exhibition match here at the Hearthstone World Championships 2015, and I can't wait to see how this show match unfolds between two poker legends. We have one Dan Negreanu as well as ElkY Poker, and I am excited to be casting this alongside with Brian Kibler as well as Life Coach, who's a special guest. Life Coach, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, awesome. I'm enjoying BlizzCon. It's simply like an amazing experience to be here and like so many people, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's right. Life Coach, you came here as a top 16 competitor. Stopping in the final 12 is a very good accomplishment, but you must be also really happy to see your teammate Tice also perform well, getting to semifinals.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, like, Tice going to the semifinals is really great success, and for us and also for our team. I mean, we have been working together basically the whole last year, and yeah, I mean, we both met each other when like Hearthstone was quite new, also new for us, and it's a really big coincidence and a really big fortune that like now everything developed how it developed and went well. And also with Oscar, I mean, it's basically also the same with him. Like, I mean, we've been friends, like close friends since a year, and it's the same, yeah. So we're really happy.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's going to be really cool to see not only how the rest of the quarterfinals will pan out, but a special exhibition that we have prepared with these two players. Rachel is down on the stage to introduce us to our two competitors.
Thanks, Dan. I won't waste any time. Here are these guys. They're ready to go. I'm going to introduce our first contestant. He's a former StarCraft player. He played in Brood War. He played Warcraft 3 professionally. His name is none other than Bertrand ElkY Grossbler. And our second competitor, a winner of 6 World Series of Poker bracelets and 2 World Poker Tour Championship titles, it's Daniel Negreanu. All right, come on down. Join me here in the center of the stage. Now, guys, I have a couple questions for you. I know you're ready to kick this match off. I know the competition is fierce, but I want to know, how did you prepare for this tournament, ElkY?
I prepared quite a lot. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone, and I kind of want to thank also like Negreanu and Monk, and that's admirable, and Show. They all practice with me and helped me a lot, so I'm pretty confident.
You got some tips from the pros backstage, did you?
Yeah, kind of. But I didn't practice as much with those decks I'm playing today, but I played the game a lot, and I watched all the World Championship games as well. So I think it's got a good insight to the game.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn from our World Championship games. And Daniel, I know you've learned a lot as well. You recently completed a huge Hearthstone milestone, if I'm not mistaken.
Golden Mage right here, that's what's up. Hey! Yeah, unlike this guy though, I'm gonna play without the coaching and without being told what to do. I'm going old school. I'm gonna bring it to you with what I got.
Well, you're bringing it to us old school. I want to know how much of your poker background is helpful when you come and play Hearthstone.
Well, for those of you who don't play poker, it's a strategy-based game, much like Hearthstone. So the skills translate. It's about, well, what's he gonna do if I do this, and then what happens after that? There's not really bluffing in Hearthstone, but it's still really fun, and I'm totally addicted to this game.
Now, we have poker backgrounds for both of you, but ElkY, you were a professional Warcraft 3 player, a professional Brood War player as well. How does that help you on the Hearthstone stage?
I mean, for Hearthstone, I think, like, you know, every time like you play something at a very high level, the competition and like the pressure and the mind games, they're kind of the same in every game. So I think that's what helps the most, for sure.
And is there anything special on the line here? Did you guys make any side bets, as it were?
So here's what I'm thinking. When you lose, the next poker tournament we play, you have to wear a Sludge Belcher costume.
I lose, so you mean like in 5 years from now or something?
Lose this match. You wear a Sludge Belcher costume. And if I lose, you pick my costume. What do you want me to wear?
All right, so if you lose, you're gonna be I know your turn. With the sun too.
Can you do the Annoyatron sound?
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Dee.
You guys are too much, and I think you guys are both ready for your match, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's shake hands. Good sportsmanship, and you guys can head into the booths. I'm gonna hand it away to our casters at the desk.
Thank you very much, Rachel. It seems like there's more on the line than just pride, Kibler. These guys are betting their honor and a little bit of their public dignity for their next tournament appearance. This is pretty fun. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm not really sure which I would rather see. You know, ElkY as a sludge belcher or Daniel Negreanu as an Annoyotron. Both of those seem like pretty funny things to witness.
Yeah, it'd be actually funny if both of them lost, so they have to simultaneously dress up.
Yeah, it's like I'm watching Freeze Mage. I'm rooting for both players to lose.
That's right. Well, at least for Kibler's sense. We'll take a look at the classes right here. It looks like Daniel has chosen to play the Druid, the Hunter, and a Mage, a class that Negreanu is definitely very favored in the past. And ElkY is bringing Warlock, Shaman, and Mage. That's a very interesting lineup. What do you think, Life Coach?
It's interesting. I mean, I don't exactly, like, of course, know what these decks are. Like, for example, the Warlock, like, is it Zoo or Handlock? But I guess nowadays in this current environment, like in the pro environment, it should be probably Zoo. But I don't know those guys, so.
Sure.
But, and I guess the Mage looks like a giant Echo Mage, I guess.
It could be. That's something that ElkY was flirting with the idea, telling us that he likes those kinds of decks. And if you guys like what you're seeing, whether you're liking the matches or you want to let us know your predictions, make sure to join in the conversation. Hashtag HWC 2015 and let us know who you're rooting for. Is it Daniel Negreanu, the player that's won so many bracelets and titles over his career? Or maybe ElkY, who's a little bit closer to the Blizzard franchise, being a former Brood War player. He would travel to Korea and compete against some of the best in the world. And now he's here competing once again in Hearthstone. It's really awesome to see him come home.
Yeah, actually first heard of ElkY when he really made the transition from playing a competitive StarCraft in Korea to playing poker professionally. Yeah. And he said that the sort of rigid trading environment, the really intense practice sessions in StarCraft translated very well to studying intently to improve his poker game.
And how does that work for you, Life Coach? You've played a lot of the poker in your lifetime as well. How was your transition from poker to Hearthstone? Was it very simple for you?
Yeah, I mean, like as Daniel already said, like there are definitely like a lot of similarities. So like thinking ahead or strategical decision making. Also, I mean, in comparison to StarCraft, there's no APM required. So poker is without APM, like if you don't mass grind, and Hearthstone, of course, also doesn't require that much attention. So I'm actually wondering like how ElkY will do. I mean, like because like I guess his APM skills, he won't be able to transit them at least, right?
I did see him playing a little bit of Legacy of the Void the other day. He still got some of that speed, that APM. And I guess that won't matter unless he's playing the very old Patron Warrior, which requires you to be very quick sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, that's where APM actually could come to help there.
You do have to finish your time before the rope burns out, as I'm sure you're quite familiar with.
Oh yeah, I remember sometimes.
Love that reaction.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, these guys are going to be playing Best of 5 Conquest. The reason why we talked about lineup in general was because that we do want to say that they're playing a regular match as if they are competing in BlizzCon themselves. Best of 5, win with each deck, and that's why it's really interesting that ElkY's bringing something like Shaman to the advice of some of his members on Team Liquid.
Yeah, actually, Daniel was saying that he was originally planning on playing Shaman. It was a class that he actually played quite a bit, and it was actually after an exchange between, I believe it was myself, Nimsh, and him on Twitter, he decided against it. Mostly because he didn't understand that Kappa meant sarcasm. He had mentioned, oh, I'm going to bring, Shaman. I was like, well, I don't know if you should bring that. It's a deck that ElkY might be prepared for.
We'll see. I mean, it's already kind of an interesting Shaman. Game number 1's about to drop here. ElkY versus Dan Negreanu. The clash between two poker players, and we see Shaman already with some interesting cards.
Yeah. The Argent Squire was a mainstay of a lot of Shaman decks. Back before the introduction of Goblin versus Gnomes, when the sort of mech shaman became the really go-to sort of aggressive style, or the introduction of Zombie Chow back at Naxxramas. It works very well with the buffs like Flame Tongue Totem or Goblin, not Goblin, Rockbiter Weapon.
Yeah,
that's where I was going.
Yeah, of course. I knew exactly what you meant, Kibler.
I mean, speaking of the Flame Tongue Totem, I mean, ElkY got the perfect curve here from 1 to 4 within 4 cards, so that's the best you can have. And if he only rolls like a Flame Tongue Totem out of the Tusker, then like it will go like really well. Like, otherwise, it doesn't still have like the Defender for the egg, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. The positioning will be important too. You want to slide the Tuskar, between unions or minions that you want to have that adjacent buffs. For now, though, the Hunter's plan is very similar. In fact, the Hunter hero power, as famously said by Killer multiple times, is one of the natural enemies against Shaman, which traditionally struggles to heal a lot. So if the game gets out of control and Daniel's piling up a lot of pressure with Hunter, then it doesn't even matter what Shaman does on board. It can just kill.
So we do see ElkY pick up that Bloodlust. And, oh,
wow.
that is the dream scenario with Tuskar Totemic getting a free 3/4 Totem Golem that really allows him to stabilize his board position.
Bingo would have needed that before.
Yeah. The Searing Totems that he got every time, not quite as good.
All right, well, I mean, this is one of those cases where can you even bother fighting back on board or just going to be more aggressive?
Looks like Daniel embraces the spirit of Rexar and goes straight to the face. But ElkY, he has that Defender of Argus that's going to put him in an excellent position against Daniel's board.
The Defender is so big here. You're going to force the Hunter to go through some high health minions, which spawn even bigger ones with the Nerubian after the Nerubian egg. Then you can pick up some pretty good trades as well, making sure that you also can go on the offensive against Hunter.
Yeah, there's some interesting decision making here with the Defender, where exactly you want to choose it, because if you do buff the egg here, it obviously allows you to potentially make a Nerubian, but it also makes your board significantly weaker to silence because it's a much stronger play against that specific minion.
True. True. However, it does force your opponent to go through the Nerubian egg, which is what you want. Otherwise, you're going to be reliant on the Rockbiter weapon to pop it.
Or Bloodlust.
Or Bloodlust.
So Bloodlust is generally going straight to the opponent's face.
That's the plan. I mean, just having 5 minions on board is half their life. All right, so ElkY trades the Divine Shield in and just starts going pretty aggressive because he has that Bloodlust.
Yeah, I mean, it's simply lethal next turn, right? So
it is if Daniel doesn't stop it. I mean, his Animal Companion is a Misha, which
that's not
falls
good
on
enough.
some.
No, this is not going to be good enough. That Bloodlust will punch through a lot of damage.
Uh-oh, especially if he's going to load up with more power onto the board. I don't even think Daniel's expecting Bloodlust, though.
No one really expects Bloodlust.
How common is this on ladder these days?
Not common at all. You rarely see Bloodlust, though I imagine there may have been a few more Bloodlust casts in the past few weeks after Pimping Ho made his way here, but this is going to do it. ElkY comes through. We see a smile on both the players' face as a huge chunk of damage closes out game 1.
Ooh, full damage, max and BM. ElkY starting off really strong with an unexpected win. Shaman over the Hunter. Not something that you are expecting to see these days.
Yeah, not at all. Shaman is usually a class that tends to struggle quite a bit, but that Defender of Argus and the Totem Golem coming off the Tuskar Totemic were huge board presence for him in that game.
That's right. That is ElkY's significant other cheering him on in a Jaina costume.
That's just Jaina? I thought that was Jaina. She looks just like Jaina.
Yeah, so it's just like Jaina, and that's a really good sounding board, at least to cheer for you in the background there next to Hamilton Chu. To anybody tuning in, you're in the middle of watching the Daniel Negreanu versus ElkY show match. We're halfway through our quarterfinals, after which we'll be playing Challenge Stone matches featuring me, Kibler, and a few other people. This is while we get ready for the second half of the quarterfinals, which will be happening later today.
Yeah, we have 2 players who have moved through to the semifinals already. Your teammate, Thijs, as well as Osaka. Excellent European representation so far.
that's really cool. I mean, a little bit unfortunate that all the Europeans got like stuffed in the top 8 of the rooster. So they now have to like, fight each other. But what can you do about it, right? I mean, we are happy enough that 2 of the Europeans made it to the semifinals and now have a chance to like that at least one European will actually represent Europe in the finals. So that's actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Last year, no European got to the semifinals. They all got stopped in the top 8. Most notably, Colento dropped in the top 8 there. People expect them to go really far. Well, in game number 2, we're going to see Mage versus Mage.
They're very different Mage decks from the look of these openings.
It could be very different outcomes with how it pans out here.
So as we saw in the opening, Daniel said he has gotten his golden Mage portrait, and he did so primarily, I believe, through playing a Tempo Mage style of deck. So this is likely the deck with which he is the most comfortable.
All right, well, let's listen in on what they're saying. I hear there's some banter back and forth.
Wanted, dead or alive.
There you go. My gift to you. Nothing good? No? That's good.
All right, so after that riveting back and forth diatribe between these two players, it's like the intensity is back up. I mean, there's a lot of tension inside of that room. Can you feel it? ElkY's with deep breaths. I thought he was the one who was the most calm and collected.
Yeah, he was definitely perhaps feeling the pressure here. He is up one game in this match so far, but this is definitely where Daniel is in his comfort zone. And this explosive sheep is the best possible response to that mirror entity. Allows him to not only deal with the secret, but also wipe Daniel's entire board.
That's right. And as the mage in Daniel's shoes, you want to be as aggressive as you can onto the board. So losing everything like that was really painful.
Absolutely. And Gormak the Impaler doesn't have friends to trigger his battle cry, but does come down as a cheap 4-power minion here, which gives Daniel a bit of a reload on the board.
Yeah, you know, Gormak kind of come in like a Costco package. You need to have a bundle of minions in order for Gormak to get some value. At stock price, it's not very powerful. It's just a 4/4 for 4.
This is perhaps an opportunity for Daniel to use the explosive shot he picked up, though he could also use Flame Cannon Ping. I would imagine we may see the explosive shot because it's a little bit more efficient overall. But nope, the Flame Cannon able to take down the Belcher, but ElkY, I believe, has a duplicate hiding.
Which
that's
will
going to be
give him full hand too, by the way, but that's still okay. You have so many good cards in your hand that I think you don't mind what you burn next, unless it's Alex Strasler.
Daniel did want ElkY to dress up like a Sludge Belcher, so he wants him to have a bunch of Sludge Belchers, so he knows exactly what he's
The
doing.
Molten Giant just got burned. Did you see it?
That's big, yeah.
That's super huge.
Yeah, the element of surprise is gone too, by the way. So now he knows, like, oh wait, it's not like Freeze Mage or anything really weird. The Sludge Belcher already set like a couple of alarms off, but you start seeing that Molten Giant, you know exactly what you're facing.
Yeah. So Daniel now, he's aware that he needs to be careful with how he manages ElkY's life total. If there is another Molten Giant waiting in his hand, perhaps Echo of Medivh is a card he starts thinking about that as a possibility. But that explosive shot will clear out the second Sludge Belcher, and then we actually see some big damage coming in from Daniel here, getting ElkY down to just 14 with 2 fireballs in hand.
If ElkY plays like Flame Strike or something, he dies immediately, right?
Yeah, he needs to both defend himself against the minions and do something to prepare to defend his life total as well, because he's so low.
Yeah, that's right. It's a really good point that if he Flame Strikes and clears the board, if something with 2 attack or more falls out, he dies.
Yeah.
Which is very common to see. Not to mention that even if he does survive, what if he gets to the point where his opponent can simply weather him down through damage and then kill him with hero powers over turns? There's no heal in ElkY's hand right now.
I mean, ElkY is really looking to find something.
Oh, here it
Oops,
is.
It's
Yeah.
Might
Just-
Vader.
Oh, 2-attack minion. That's perfect and just enough damage for Daniel to end this game.
You see him point, aim and click there against ElkY, and there comes fireball number 1, fireball number 2, and that's 14 damage, going to tie up the series 1-2-1.
That's right. So Dan Negreanu with the fist pump, putting himself on the board. Looks
This
like,
was probably like the fastest Echo Giant mage game I ever saw. Like without Echo Giant, right? I mean, so.
Well, he did have one Molten Giant possibly drawn, but there's 2 things to this. First, Daniel gets an important win to tie up the series. The second is that he knows what kind of mage deck this is going for, so the surprise element's also out of the way.
Yeah, that's often one of the powerful elements of the deck like Echo Giants is can play like a different style of deck and then sort of spring the trap on you of, oh, okay, here come the Molten Giants.
Yeah, so that's no longer available at ElkY's disposal, but maybe matchup-wise, he's still in a pretty decent spot. Or so you think until you look at the classes remaining from Daniel, which is Druid and Hunter. And those are 2 classes which can be very tricky for the Echo Mage to engage with.
Yeah, exactly what you said. I mean, I don't know exactly about the matchup against the Hunter, but against Druid, it's horrible. Like, it's really bad. Like, if like the Druid player executes his they play a game correctly, then ElkY shouldn't have like a chance in that match. So it's really important, like for ElkY, that he chooses his ElkY into the Hunter if possible.
So how do you feel after watching one game apiece from both these guys here? What's your reading? Are they playing to your satisfaction, life coach?
Yeah, well, so Daniel brought like face hunter in the first game, right? So that was actually, I mean, he went face, so that was probably already quite well executed. Yeah.
Probably right. Yeah, well, the life coach was like, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's kind of what we normally come to expect from those Hunter decks, really aggressive stuff. So it looks like Daniel at least gets the sense of what Rexar is meant to do.
I mean, Daniel did pick up a win with his mage deck, and that is the deck with which he is the most experienced.
True.
He does have his golden mage portrait, so we'll see how well he navigates the games of the other class as well.
Okay, well, this is another important win for ElkY to get with his mage deck. If it can withstand the Hunter pressure, it can dodge the Druid, and the winner of this will be at a very big advantage for the remainder of the series, because then they'll be one game away from closing it out.
Mm-hmm. And the Molten Giant in ElkY's hand is a very strong one against an aggressive deck. He's very likely to get his health reduced quite low by the Hunter, so he's able to get this Discount Giant.
Did Daniel just not coin out? Did he really not coin out the Knife Juggler?
Looks like he chose not to.
It looks like he's saving the coin because he
for better
rather
times.
use it for something. But in this case, when he had two jugglers in hand, you'd want to put as much pressure as you want, ideally, correct?
It looks like he may be going to coin out the Argent Horse Rider.
Don't worry, love.
So it looks like he wants to play the minion that has the Divine Shield, which gives it a little bit more resilience against possible removal. Though it does force him to use his mana somewhat inefficiently over the next couple of turns. Ooh.
Okay, well, let's listen in again and see if these guys are exchanging any words for game number 3.
Let's throw a Knife Juggler your way, my friend. Here you go.
Put this apple on your head. Get in there and fight, maggot.
Boom, boom. Okay. I know you got that sheep thing. You can play that sheep thing? What is that sheep thing called? I know what you're thinking.
I will hunt you down.
I love that you can do that. Threaten. Heavy breathing. That's good for me.
What to do? What to do?
Duplicate.
One person's talking, at least. Looks like Negreanu is in the zone,
Yeah,
making reads on ElkY.
That sheep thing, unfortunately for ElkY, not in his hand, but
Right. Well, I mean, it's one of those things where he's like, yeah, play it. I know you have it. He doesn't have it because obviously he would try playing it to reduce the pressure. I mean, so Daniel's gathering some information, trying to use some of those old man tricks here.
Daniel in a pretty good spot here with a lot of aggression, though ElkY does have that ice block down as well as Molten Giant. So he could be in a spot where he gets to start playing gigantic minions, but he doesn't have any heal. So if his ice block is popped, there's that sheep thing. Nice draw for ElkY there. We see a little bit of dance on Daniel's side.
Yeah, he won't be dancing for really long, though, if the Explosive Sheep clears the board. Well, it won't clear it entirely because of the Divine Shield.
Yeah. The Argent Horse Rider does survive. No damage from the Divine Shield preventing it. ElkY down to 15.
Huh. Well,
without heal it, we get pretty close, actually. Like, I mean, he cannot, like, proc the block this turn, but if he can actually proc the block next turn, I mean, he doesn't die within the next 3 turns, does he?
it doesn't look like it. ElkY would have to drop 3 or 4 giants worth in order to kill him. And in order to do that, he has to make sure his ice block is not popped either on the following turn.
So ElkY can potentially this turn play Molten Giant, Sun Fury, or the Sludge Belcher, but he can play Molten Giant, Sun Fury, and Echo.